So you guys have seen a lot of coverage of different shops around the country that do used EVs exclusively. Platt Auto in Portland is a great one, not a sponsor, just some great guys down there. Say hi to Jack and Peter if you get a chance. But what if you're on the East Coast? What if you're on the Southeast? What if you need something in Ocala? We're gonna have a chat about that. I'm Brian, welcome to Future Ozza. So guys, we've got a sign there that says electrified pre-owned certified EV sales. We have got Chris here from Electrified Garage. We've got Drake, who is, I guess you would say, a principal in this endeavor.
Yep.
Yeah, in pre-owned. So the first question is, why?
So it all started for me on this side. I think Chris has been thinking about doing it for a while, and we kind of just ran into each other about it. But I actually went and bought my girlfriend a used Model 3, and the process sucked. And I tried to look everywhere in town. I've been in my town most of my life, and every car dealer was totally clueless on Teslas, didn't know anything about the EV rebate that we currently have going, and just didn't know how to sell a Tesla. And it made me think, not only is there an issue with that, but there's an issue with people who don't understand Teslas if they're not new buyers, which there's a lot of folks like that. Whether it's for finances or not, some people just decide they want to buy a used car. And they need to get the same experience that they're going to get, if not even better, than what they're going to get dealing with a Tesla or one of the main OEMs of an electric vehicle. So we kind of want to fill that void and give that better experience, more transparency, being able to call and ask a question and get a coherent answer about a Tesla, or just teach somebody instead of not knowing what we're talking about.
Now, Chris, you've met with, I'm going to say, thousands of EV owners.
Sure.
You've heard some stories, I'm sure, of the buying process when it comes to anything other. I mean, even some of the legacy auto are not proud of their cars. They don't know what they are,
Right.
and they don't know where to get them. What kind of experiences have you heard from people that made you think maybe we should just take over on this front?
Well, I would say first and foremost, you run into situations where people don't know what trim level is the car, what options come with it. Does it have free supercharging? Is it transferable to another owner? Does it have autopilot? Does it have full self-driving? Does it have one motor or two? Like really silly things. What size battery does it have? You know, I've seen people that thought they were buying a standard range Model 3 and ended up with a performance car, paid standard range money for it and were ecstatic. But then I've seen the other way around where people were like, well, I paid for a car thinking it had free self-driving and it doesn't, or thought that I was going to get free supercharging. And in actuality, the previous owner transferred it to another car without telling that person. And now they get stuck with, now they have to pay for it. So like anywhere else, buying a car used, you don't know what you're getting. You don't know who you're buying it from. And if it's from a local car lot, it could have came from auction. You don't know its previous history. If it's from a private sale, they're not necessarily honest either. So in this case, the car's got to come to us. We inspect it. We go to the owner of that vehicle and explain to them, okay, you need X, Y, and Z, or maybe it's perfect, but the likelihood of it being perfect is pretty small. But once they know what the problems are, they have the option to fix it, or we're going to be completely transparent with whoever's going to buy it next and make sure that they understand what they're buying and make sure that the person in between is being, rational with what the price is going to be.
If I go into a little auto shop, a little car sales place today, what are the odds that they actually have the ability to fix it in their shop?
It's probably pretty slim to none.
About zero, right?
Yeah,
It's close.
closer to zero.
The dealerships, maybe more so,
Right.
especially now. But when you bring a car in, oh, look where we are. It's Electrified Garage.
And that's one of the big things that when I started this idea in my head, this was before we even got together. I thought to myself, this is a great idea, but I'm worried about the service, because the hardest part of operating any dealership is keeping people happy in service. So to be able to connect with someone like Chris, who already has a background of extremely well done service and can pretty much fix anything on a Tesla, to be able to integrate that with doing sales and being able to know that your vehicle before you buy it has been certified by someone who knows these vehicles better than most technicians on them. Honestly, I've brought my car here after bringing it to Tesla. I love Tesla, but there's been situations where I've had my personal car where they couldn't figure it out. I brought it here, and within one day they had the answer, and I was able to take that back to Tesla, and they verified it and fixed it under warranty. So that blew me away. And ever since then, I've always thought, man, these are the guys. How lucky am I to be in a city where this is what we have, and this is what I like, and this is what I'm into. If we could just connect this and make this into something even bigger, that would be great for the community and us. It just kind of clicked, and we have to do it now.
There are a lot of shops around the country that are trying to get into this. It's a tough situation because the cars are still new. And I've seen situations in Arizona. My friend bought a Model Y and he got a screaming deal because it was at 6% state of charge, and they didn't know how to charge it.
Oh, really?
And they're like, just move it, just get it out of here.
Wow,
That was a year or two
And
ago.
those are great, but there's always the opposite to that, like we were talking about.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you get told, the most common one I get is that it has full self-driving, and it doesn't.
All the listings I see list full self-driving capable.
Right.
And that is not, that doesn't mean activated.
Very misleading. And more importantly, when you call to confirm that, because I would say a pretty good portion of Tesla buyers know what they're looking for when they're calling. They're just calling with some basic questions to find out exactly what that car is. And it's very irritating when you call with a clear, concise question, and hours later you still can't get a clear answer without driving wherever this vehicle is to get let down that it doesn't have what you expect. And then you wonder, were they being malicious and not telling us, or are they just fools and don't know?
Right.
Now, one of the frustrations I've seen myself when buying a used car is them pushing all the extras.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money there. What happens here when people buy a car? What extras are even available?
So our goal with doing this is to make it more transparent, most importantly. So we don't plan on charging any of those extra fees. What we are going to have is we're going to certify the vehicles, and then we'll be able to have certified programs that you're able to enter your car in, so you don't have to worry about things like maintenance. And we can even go into warranties and things like that to cover. And Chris can go into more of the details of that because he's already been working on that. It was amazing how we just linked together. And I'm like, we got to be able to find how to do this, how to do that. And Chris has already set it all up. Now we just got to enact it.
So what are they?
So we actually reached out to a company called Amber that does insurance.
Right.
And so between the two of us, we created what's called Electrified Care. So Electrified Care can be either an extension of your bumper-to-bumper warranty, it can be just your high voltage components, or you can do all of it together. And we can do that for 1, 2, 3, or 4 years. So the idea with Electrified Pre-Owned is, as long as it's a 2016 or newer vehicle, you're going to get your first year of Electrified Care included in the purchase price. So you get 1 year, 20,000 miles, no questions asked. You got a problem, it comes back here, we take care of it.
My seat switch is broken.
Yeah, doesn't matter, we'll take care of it.
Yeah.
So
That's an assurance you're not going to get. I mean, I happen to come from a background in that business. I worked in the car industry and auto dealerships for 8 or 9 years, traveling all over the country, and I've never experienced that level of transparency and customer service, especially in a used-only outlet. You're seeing a lot of these bigger groups. For example, CarMax and Carvana. Carvana announced last year their #1 selling used car was a Tesla Model Y.
Wow.
And that's mind-blowing. When I called, so that initially made me go, let me call on some Tesla Model Ys at Carvana and see what the experience I get. The same experience I got at all the car dealerships here, none of them knew what they were talking about. So they were able to sell that many Model Ys. How many people bought those Model Ys from them that had no clue what they were getting? And that's what I worry. That's what I want to change.
Some for sure. The first time I went to a public charger, there was a couple that had just, this morning they got up, they were thinking about maybe getting a car. They had a very nice Model 3 Performance, and they were at the supercharger, and their first question is, I'm at 85%. Why is it going so slow? So, okay, I've got some education for you. And then I said, by the way, did you have to set up a credit card or anything? They go, no, we just plugged it in and it worked. I said, go to 100. Go to 100 because I don't know whose credit card that is, but it ain't yours.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so that's another thing that I did when I worked at Tesla, back in 2013, 2014. There wasn't enough of us to go around. So come the end of quarter, there's a big push to get cars out the door. I literally spent 12 hours a day in a car just doing walkthroughs with everybody and showing them how to use the car. Nowadays, they hand you the key and kick you out the door and say, good luck, don't let the door hit you in the butt. But that's something else. I actually do orientation classes for new owners, and even existing owners end up learning stuff too, where we'll sit down in their personal car, or we'll mirror a car on a big screen TV, and go through everything from start to finish. This is how you operate the car. This is best practices. This is, what you should consider for maintenance, all that kind of stuff, so that you don't go out in the world blind. You don't know what you're doing. You try to go on a road trip and get stuck somewhere. What do you do if you get a flat tire? That kind of stuff. So we really try to be as transparent as possible and let you understand what you're getting yourself into, because it isn't for everybody yet. And there are some people that do it, get a bad taste in their mouth, and then they leave and they go back to a gasoline car.
Exactly.
Obviously, our goal is to not have that happen.
Set them up for success.
Right.
So many people don't get set up for success. Anytime I talk to someone who was in an EV and left it, which is not very often, but I do meet people like that, and I always say, did you understand the vehicle? What happened? What went wrong? And the answers we typically get are things that could have been avoided with better understanding of what they were getting into.
For sure.
That would have made them enjoy the lot more. So that's what we're trying to fix.
When I was at the Portland International Auto Show, we were doing information, and the big question we were getting was, is there something for me yet to tow to the coast and back? And the answer was, at the time, no, not comfortably, not quite yet. Yep. Soon, we're very close, but we're not there. Is there anything I'm forgetting to ask? Well, I guess the first question is, when will you be open for business?
ASAP. We're in the licensing process, getting all that done. That's we're well into it. It could happen. We're waiting on the state, so it really comes down to them. It could be a week, could be a couple weeks. Worst case scenario, within the next 30 days, we'll be opened up.
Should we check the website
Yes.
to make sure?
It'll be electrifiedpreowned.com. Yep.
All right, and you'll have your inventory on there.
Absolutely.
The prices.
That's going to be a real big part of it, is how we advertise our cars online. We're going to be that full disclosure where people know what they're looking at. If someone's looking for something specific, they're going to be able to see right there on there whether it actually has that option. Like
Right.
Chris went into, what battery does it have, what options does it have, what trim level is it, all those things.
Especially when you're talking about older Teslas, they had autopilot, enhanced autopilot, FSD, and there were some weird branches in
Hardware,
between.
different types of
The
hardware.
yeah.
A lot of it.
I had a chance to look at a very affordable Model X last year,
Yeah.
and it had hardware 0 on it.
Wow.
So I was not interested.
I understand.
As much as I love driving,
Not
I
that
don't love
much.
driving all the time.
Right.
So I like to have my options. Guys, in the comments, what did we miss? What do we misunderstand? Was there something I should have asked these fine gentlemen while I had them here? You can still ask. We'll get it in the comments because I'll make it mandatory for at least Drake to answer some questions.
I'm on it.
And if you don't know Drake, he is the beast behind the Ocala Cyberfest. We just
had a
got
great
done with that.
time.
We had so much fun. We got so many trucks out there. We have yet to decide finally where the next event will be, but it'll be somewhere soon and exciting. And if you'd like us to come to wherever you are for a Cyberfest,
Tell us.
get in
Tell
touch.
us where. Tell us why. Reach out to us. We're ready for the next one.
Everybody else, in the comments, like, subscribe, do what you do, and stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots behind the wheel of your new fabulous pre-owned electric vehicle.